Hi all, this is your girl Natasha, and my tea kettle has breweth over. My has it breweth over. Well, now since it's summer, I'm also serving, as well with my hot tea, I'm serving iced tea. So you have a choice. And also I'm serving Milano cookies. And I've also added the dark chocolate edition, as well as the milk chocolate. They're both my favorite. And Lorna Doones, of course. And an assortment of cheeses, and cold cuts, and croissants, and butter or mayonnaise if you like. And if you have a sweet tooth, I'm serving Russell Stover's chocolates and sugar-free Russell Stover's chocolates. For Jay Wilson, he said he's losing some weight, so I'm adding sugar-free to the addition of chocolates. Don't read me, Jay. Anyway, the reason why I came on is because I wanted to, it was a new twist to Miss Olivia and April were having a disagreement, and I'm neutral. Let me say this, people, I'm neutral because I watch April and I watch Olivia. And I watch a lot of other people that people may not care for. And I stay neutral, so that's that. But I had a question for Miss Olivia, and this is no shade. This is a new twist on what Miss Olivia was saying because I respected her opinion. And so, Miss Olivia, I wanted to address you and ask you, what do you think of this? And this is something I've experienced personally. And a lot of other light-skinned people, such as myself, light-skinned black people. My mother is black. My father is black. And, of course, they're from the South, and you know how the South, back from slavery, how that went. That's how our race basically got mixed, all different shapes and colors. So I say all that to say, I'm my mom's complexion, and my father is brown skin. He's brown skin. I would say darker brown. And I always get, or I got growing up and still do, that, especially living in New York, with all people of every race in the melting pot, I always got taken, and still do, for Latino, Puerto Rican, Mexican, whatever. And when I go to the South, there's a lot of Mexicans, so I'm taken for Mexican. And I clear them. I get them straight and say, wait a minute, baby. No Ingles. No Espanol, I mean. I'm black. And growing up, I had to explain that to a lot of people. And I find that within our own black race, we are just as prejudiced. We throw shade at each other. I mean, I find if you're lighter skinned, that a darker skinned person would automatically throw shade because you're light skinned, thinking that you think you're better than. And I've gotten that so much growing up. And of course, having 2 strikes, being transgender. Okay. So, that was really, I really wouldn't say it was an issue for me, but it was a lot I experienced to this day. And I think being that my mom and dad were both together, and I would go to the South and visit my family, and that really helped me stay grounded, not to let the prejudice that I got for being light-skinned black. Okay, they automatically think you're better than. And I've even had a friend, I'll never forget a particular friend I had. We were going to work one day on the New York subway. This was a couple years ago, a decade ago. And he was gay. So in the gay community, we call the gay feminine men she. So I'll just say he so I won't confuse anybody. But he said to me, Tasha, you should feel fabulous. You should turn it. I says, what do you mean? Girl, you're light skinned. If I was your color, I would turn it out. It would be nothing you could tell me. Now, we're on the subway, so you know it's loud, so all different conversations going on, so no one heard it. And I looked at him. I almost slipped and called his name. And I looked at him and I said, why would you say something like that? I says, you're fierce, girl. You look good. You read for filth. I says, actually, you're nastier than I could ever be. So why would you say something like that? I would say, do you know what I go through? I says, I have met people and they have judged already by the color of my skin. And by the end of them getting to know me or in time being around me, they have said to me, you know what, Tasha, you are a kiki. You are so down to earth. You love to laugh. You love to joke. You're not shady. In fact, you go after the black men. You love darker skinned men. Yeah, I love darker skinned men. I can really say in my years of carrying on that I've dated in a relationship a light-skinned man because that's what I prefer. Not being prejudiced, but I just like a dark-skinned man. Just like my mother being light-skinned. She always said she liked a darker man. My grandfather was dark, and my grandmother was light. And their children, you know how we black folks can go to hair. Well, the light-skinned children or whatever, they have the light, straighter, curlier hair. And the dark-skinned children, they say, oh, well, they have the nappy hair or whatever. Now, gag. In my family, my grandmother had the straight Indian hair. She was American Indian. And she had like 12 children. And some of the darker skinned children had the straight Indian hair like my grandmother. And the light skinned children had the thicker hair that you would perm if you wanted to. Okay? It may have been long, but yet some of them would choose to use a perm. And the darker skinned children had the straight, wavy Indian hair like my grandmother. American Indian. So you see? And then there's another thing. Why is it that when not all, some of our black men, when they get famous, basketball player, etc., we all see them with white women? I've always thought of that question. They rarely go for a nice black woman. I mean, black in as far as skin complexion, brown, whatever, light brown to dark black. You never see that with some successful black men. And I know that for a fact because I see it in New York. Like I said, New York is a melting pot. So I said to myself, when I was hearing this thing going on with Olivia and April, and I was neutral. But I started thinking about how our own race can be prejudiced with each other. If you're lighter, they hate on you. And if you're darker, it's fine. And there's name calling, and like that movie Spike Lee made, School Days, Jigaboo, and Wannabe. Yeah, like that. I mean, it's like that in our race to this day. And I think it was because of slavery that it was a known fact that if you were lighter skinned black because of the white slave messing with the black woman, that you were better treated, meaning you served and did your duties in the house. And then they had what they call them field niggers, the darker ones. Yeah. And I think that that has unspokenly spilled into our black race. Though it isn't talked about most, it's shown by actions. Yeah. Most of the times you hear guys say, oh, I want a light-skinned chick. I've heard it. I want a light-skinned chick. Yeah, honey. Or women, I want a light-skinned guy. Dark-skinned women. And I'm guilty of it. I'm light-skinned black. I love a dark chocolate man. I just do. I don't know if it's because I love the skin tone together or just what it is, but it doesn't make me prejudiced. At the end of the day, I love my race. I love being black. And when someone takes me for anything other, I correct them quickly. You know why? Because it's an insult to my parents. They're black. Just because my mother's light skin and my father's dark skin, it would be a slap in the face when someone takes me as Puerto Rican or Mexican or of Latino descent. It would be an insult to them, my grandparents, to go along with that. I quickly straighten them out. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I may be smiling, but really, it's something that I've thought about, and that us black people as a race, it may be quietly unspoken, but it is so there. A well-to-do guy, he's always got a majority of the time a white woman on his hands, and children, and a dark-skinned man. And vice versa, some successful women are with white men. Some successful black women are with white men. I mean, it's their choice. I'm not knocking them. You can love, screw, whoever you want. But I'm just saying, as well as being biracial, I'm talking about being a light-skinned black person and what I have endured beside being a trans woman. And you know, I just saw something Tim said, and it was very, very interesting. Instead of always saying I'm a trans woman, you people know me by now on YouTube. I am a woman of trans experience. I'm going to just stop saying trans woman. You already know. I'm a woman. So, that was just something that I had thought about, that I wanted to talk about. And if Miss Olivia sees this video and she wants to comment, and I'm not trying to debate Miss Olivia, I just wanted to ask her, what does she think about that? Because that bothers me as a light-skinned black person when I get from a darker person that I think I'm better than. And I certainly don't. And I have black parents. that are different skin tones. So I don't choose. I am who I am. And that's all I can be. But beauty is within. Ugly is all over. Like that woman on the other side. Tasha, you said you were going to keep it cute. But everyone knows who I hate on. I shouldn't say hate, despise on YouTube. Only one person. And I refuse to call that person's name. But, like I said, that's a thought. Why do us within the black race discriminate against each other? Not biracial, but us being black and all different shades of black. Why do we discriminate against each other? Well, all, my tea party is over, and thanks for joining me. And until next time, I will be back, serving tea and iced tea. You all take care, and I love you. Mwah. Bye.